So yesterday we have created some of the framework. So we are able to see how we can take the screenshot. So a screenshot will be placed here. Is my screen and audio both are clear?
Yes,
So let me fail the test case. I think the test case will not fail. So do not see the commented part as of now. Let me fail the test case. So it will take a screenshot. Let me send some data. So let us here with the data provider. So data provider is already covered in the previous test in the. So till now, if you want to use data provider, how you do in the same class, you provide the data provider. But now what I will do, suppose I have created one class file. Guys, give me a minute. Let me. Is some noise is coming from behind?
no, it's okay.
It's okay, then fine. So I will fail the test case, so it will take the screenshot. And I'm also providing the data provider. But now I will not provide the data provider in the same class. So what I have done, I have created a separate file. So first I have created the separate package. Inside I have created one file with this name, test utility. And here I will define the data provider. So this is the data provider. So this is the data provider I have created. So what I am returning here, I am creating a new array type string. And here you can see. So this is the first name, this is the email, and this is, let me remove this as of now. Let us go with only two variable, two data. This third one can be the phone number. So now I will provide the data provider not in the same class but in the other class. So you can see data provider first annotation. After that, this name of the data provider. After that, this is the data provider name. And here I am creating one array with the help of new keyword. Array type is string. First, this is the name. This is the email. This is the name. This is the email. Now, as my data provider is present in some other class, but I need to use my data, so forgot about this one as of now. Consider only top one. So here is my data provider present. So how I can tell to this class, which class is this? This is where my test case is present, but this is where the data provider is present. So if I, after test, if I write like this, I will say I will tell what is the class of data provider. So data provider class is testutil dot class, and this is the name of the data provider. So if you can see here, data provider class name is testutil, and this is the name of data provider. So what will happen once this test case start to run? It will be notified with this line that first I need to go to this class so that we can find the data provider with this name, and one by one it will get the value and it will run this test case, right? So let me not fail the test case as of now. So if I run it, you will see it will run how many times?
3 or 4 times depending on how many
Yeah.
username password you have given.
So we are having four data, so it will run four times. So let me save it and run it. Let me say run as 7 times. So this is how we can provide the data provider in separate class. So now what is the first name? Sumit, Pankaj, Jalaj and Abhishek. So you will see this data will be run 4 times. So as of now, we have not done anything new. Just I am providing the data provider in some test case. What is the issue? The test case is failed. So what is the name?
So I think the package name is test utils, but you have put test util.
Give me a minute. Which one? Okay, I think it is the issue. This is the class. This is package name. This is the class name that is covered. And here I need to define the class. But class name is test. Okay, yeah. So this is test utils. Okay, now if you see the class name is test util only, so let me not change it. Data provider name is get data. So let me run it again. Okay, so now it has started to run. Okay, so it is failing again. Okay, so I got the reason. So I think I have defined one more data provider in that class. Let me comment this below one. I think both are having the same data. So this is for Excel. I will come to that one later. Let me change the name. Change the name to get data one. So let us give some name. Actually, both the data providers are having the same name, so it is failing. So now it is get data one. So it is confusing that which one I have to go. Now if I run it, so this is our class name. So class name is this. Not do not see the package name. Package name is having some other name. Test utils, but the class name is test util. So go to this class. So our test case will run 4 times with this whole set of data. So this time no error should be present. We started Sumit. After that Pankaj. After that it will close. It will close because we are defining after class driver.close, and this is our second test case. It will simply enter washing machine, and after that it will store. So now we are providing data provider in some other class. So similarly, let me comment this as of now. So this part is clear. We have not done anything new, just providing data provider in separate class.
Sumit, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So now we given four names, right? I mean, four data you provided: Sumit, Pankaj, Jalaj, and Abhishek. So while executing, it displayed four names. Is that page refreshed or already entered data is deleted?
Okay, let me tell you. So good question. So once this data will come, like first Sumit, then Pankaj, then Jalaj, then Abhishek. So basically whole page will be refreshed. The reason is I have written the code in such a way. So you can see when the first data will come, it will start from here. So this URL will hit first. Then after these lines will execute. When the second data will come, this URL will hit again. So it is basically hitting the URL again and again. So it will refresh every time.
So page is refreshing. Okay.
Because this, whenever any data will come, it will start from beginning. So you can see that. So you can see if you come here, total test case run 5. So
Hmm.
why 5? Because one test case from this one. This is one test
Without
case,
any data.
right?
Without any.
So
Okay. Yes.
total 5. So it will
Okay.
generate the report. I think none of the test case fail. So if I go to my report, let us see what is the report, how report will look like. This is in surefire report, HTML. These are the screenshots. But this time none of the test case fail. So I think we should not see any failure in our report. So suppose I want to attach the screenshot to my reporter, to my report. Like as of now, both the test cases are passed, right? So if I click this, you can see it is also telling you that which data I am sending. So this test case pass and this test case pass. So if I
Okay.
fail the test case, it will take the screenshot and it will place the screenshot to this location, which we have defined yesterday. Here it will place. But now I want to attach these screenshots to my index.html file because we are not very sure that which test case is of which screenshot is related to which test case. So what I will do,
So
yeah,
Sumit, once again, why it is showing 5 test cases? Because you have executed from testing.xml, is it? In the testing.xml, you have two
yeah, yeah.
test cases.
When
Okay,
I will
okay,
run,
fair enough.
when I will run Maven test, so because of Surefire plugin, I have defined that test in the XML there, so it will run these two classes.
Got it, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now we will try to attach our screenshot. So for that, I will copy some code. So that is not very lengthy. Let me copy this line and explain it. So screenshot, when it will take the screenshot, when it will reach to on test failure in our listeners class. So this is our listeners package. Yesterday we have discussed that when the test case will fail, it will come to this block and execute this capture screenshot. So once it will capture the screenshot, what I will do, okay, so I have pasted already. Let me do one thing, let me comment this line. What this will do, first of all, let me debug it again.
So Sumit, we haven't seen this portion.
This one,
String name is, yeah, we haven't
yeah,
seen that.
that's why I'm debugging. So I'm saying
Yeah.
just add these lines and I will explain you in debug mode that how it is executing, right? So let me debug as, oh, basically once it will capture the screenshot, if you go to this file, capture a screenshot, here I am defining one variable which is static. This is the name. So once this block will execute, once a screenshot code will execute, the screenshot name, as it is a global variable, class variable, a screenshot name will be placed here. And from here, I am getting that name. So like let me first run it. So we'll start. First it, okay, so I have to fill the test case, otherwise it will not come. Now filling the test case. So first this test case will fail. The test case name is this one. So remember this Amazon TC2 test case number 2, it will fail and it will reach to on test failure. Okay, so I think I have run it in the run mode. Let me. So it will stop here, and here whatever the data you write, that will be. Let me start. So now this will fail because of assertion. It will list true. This test case Amazon TC2 will fail. And if I come to here, what is the name? Amazon TC2, it will fail. And we are getting a driver of failed test case. So driver will be cached here. Now I am saying capture the screenshot. So which method will execute now? Screenshot method. It will take the screenshot. When it will come to this line, it this variable will get the screenshot for that Amazon test case 2, and the name will be placed here. So if I run this, let me put one breakpoint. So let me execute this. Now it will take the screenshot of this page, and it will stop at that point. So okay, so it is still taking. I should not click this. Okay, now we are here, and after that, if you see this name, so this name is unique. If I copy this name, so let me copy this name and place it here. So this is the name of our first failed test case. Now it will copy and it will. Now we are. It will simply come out of this. Now we are here. Now what I'm doing, this is the class name. As this variable is static, I'm saying class name dot variable name. So you can see variable name is again this, that is coming from our base class. So this is the same name. So what I'm doing, I'm getting that name. So if you see this, these are the same names. Not here. These two names are same. You can see. So if they are same, then what we can do, right? So these names are same. So I'm getting this name, and there is one class which is a reporter that is coming from the dependencies of report-ng, which we included in our form.xml yesterday. So now that name will be placed here. So if I execute this, the same name which is present here is now here. Now I'm saying this is I'm logging some data into my report. So before the test case, you will see this written line that capturing the screenshot. So it will write that line into our reporter. And here, if you see, I am giving, this will simply place the particular, this is our screenshot name. So it will simply pick the whole screenshot and it will place into our into our particular test case. And after that, this what is this BR? I will tell you when we will see the reporter. What is the use of this BR? So basically, when you will click the screenshot, that will open in the separate page. So this is what this tag defines. So you can also remove this if you want, but it will open in the same page, and you have to now go backward and forward. So better way to include this. And after that, I am saying what is the height and width of the image, right? So this is the image name, and after that you will see it will simply provide the screenshot. So this is how it is working. And if I run this in debug mode, if I run it again, so this part is clear how it is working. First, we are getting the name of that screenshot, and with the help of these three lines, we are placing the screenshot in our particular test case. Is it clear?
What is the use of the last line at the report log
What is the
image?
use of
What is the benefit? What is the last?
which one? Which line?
The last.
This one.
Yes, yes.
So let me just run this program, generate the report, then I will tell you, right?
Okay.
So if I first run it in now as a Maven test, so now Maven test. So it will generate the report. So it will fail. This will also fail. So total 4 screenshot we should see. So after that, total 4 test case fail, 1 pass. So this is the reason. So if I go up, these are the outputs. What is the reason of failure? So total test case run 5, failure 4. So total 4 screenshot we should see now. So if I open this HTML, so it has taken some screenshots. So if I open this, so instead of copying the path, I should have only refreshed it. So refresh it. So now you can see total test case passed are total 4 test case failed. And if I click this, so you are not seeing the screenshot here. So this is the passed test case. So that's why you are seeing it as passed. And these are the 4 test case failed because we are running our test case 4 times with the 4 different data. So it will treat the test case as different. So now if you see, we are able to see, but this is the we are return reporter.log capturing screenshot. So that is why we are able to see this, but screenshot is not generated here. So what you have to do, there is one line, there is one flag which you need to set it to false. So basically directly it will not allow you to capture the screenshot if you do not provide this line and set this flag. So you can read about it later more if you want to. Just understand that you have to just set this flag as false. So now these lines will be treated as a not a simple text but as a HTML. Now if I run it again, you just see if I run it again, what will happen? Run as Maven test. So it will fail 4 times. 4 times it will run, and 4 times it will also fail. So this test case will pass. Okay, so you can see screenshots increase. So now if I open this, let us see whether we are able to see the screenshot now or not. So again, total 4 failed test case. So if I click this, now if you see this screenshot, some screenshots are here for each and every test case, right? But this test case is passed, so no screenshot for that. So if you see this line, this one, last one. So I'm defining some height and width. So that height and width of this is of this one. This is the height and width 200 into 200, something like this. When you click this, when you click the image with the help of this name, which is BR, this one, it will be open in the separate window. Like this, it will open, right? So Abhishek, then after some other name, Pankaj. Then if I go down, this will Jalaj, and after that Sumit. So this is how it is capturing the screenshot, placing it in the report. So this, if you change it to someone, like if I try to change it, let me say if I give 100 into 100, let me say, let us see what will happen. So you will see if I try to run it again. So earlier this is how, this is the size. So let us try to compare. So now if I open it in some other Chrome browser, so we have changed the height and width. Let us see whether it is having any effect. So earlier this is the case. Now if I open it here, okay, let me copy again. So again, 4 test case fail. Now if you see the size, okay, so I think I have, earlier you can see that this is coming a little bit big, but if I am changing to it 100 and 200, it is coming as a small. So this is what we are defining the size. Is it clear? Earlier, if you see, I think,
Sumit, this is clear, but we are having some background noise from your laptop. It's so much of disturbance.
now, now it is
We're
fine.
still, we're still, we're still hearing the sound. I don't know about others. Are you guys also hearing the same sound?
Let
Can,
me
can,
let me use earphones so that.
Now it is stopped.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
big
So
relief, man. Thank you.
yeah, there we go. So now if you see the height and width, if you change it, it will reflect here. Now if you click this again, it will open in the same.
Again it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how you can capture the screenshot. So if you run this test case with the data provider 10 times, then it will take the screenshot 10 times and it will place it here. So similarly for this, is it clear now? These 4 lines, what they are doing?
What is this reporter.log? Is it any class or something?
This is a class. This class is used for test methods, right? To log the messages that will be provided in the HTML file. So this is coming from the report.ng dependencies which we include in our project yesterday, which is report.ng, if you remember, right? So now let us see how we can. So I am proceeding forward. I hope it is clear. So if we delete the screenshot, whether the screenshot is deleted from here, let me check. Okay, so if you delete the screenshot, so make sure you are not deleting the screenshot, otherwise they will also be deleted, right? So it is getting the information of screenshots, right? So do not delete that. So now, if you see this, I have prepared one Excel sheet.
So, Sumit, can you go back to the output?
Which one?
Output. No.
I have not
The
opened this. Let
yeah
us
yeah
check.
yeah.
What is this? Some other file maybe.
Yeah, can you click on that hyperlink, the screenshot hyperlink, where it will take you?
Which one?
The hyperlink of the screenshot. No. In the
Let me.
yeah, the screenshot
This one?
hyperlink. Yeah, click. Yeah. When you click, what happens?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, see. Let me run it again. I have deleted the screenshot. Let me revert it back. Okay, so I think this now should work. I have deleted the screenshot. That's why I should try to. Okay, so again, a screenshot came. So if I open that output one, now you can see it is simply giving us the screenshot like this, and it will open in the separate page. It is due to reporter.log BR tag, so that will help us in, right?
Yeah, it is clear. And in the form.xml, we also added something called GUICE.
Yeah, so they both are helping us to in creating that,
Okay, got it.
right?
Okay.
So include both. So now this I have prepared one Excel sheet. So this Excel sheet has some data like this is a separate sheet, this is a sheet, this is a sheet. So suppose I want to run the test cases from Excel. Now I will try to make sure that this will run with the data provider. So how we can give the knowledge of Excel to our data provider and run this test case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total 6 times we have to run with the help of Excel. So this is the sheet I prepared and it is present in my desktop. So now how we can the same. So let this code be here only. So we will not change this because it will help us in taking the screenshot. So now if I go to this folder, right now I will not use this data provider because we are getting the data from Excel sheet. So we are letting comment this now. So similarly, if you come to this test case, this is this one. So here as well, whatever the data provider, I am not removing this line because for the Excel sheet as well, in the same class I have defined one more data provider for the Excel sheet. If you come down, this is the data provider which will help us to get the data from Excel sheet. So where is this variable? This variable is coming from where it is coming. It is coming from our base class testutils.testut.excel. I think it is on the. Okay, so it is like this. Okay, so this is one variable I have created Excel. Here I am creating. If you come to this, I have told you in the Telegram I have pasted one this Excel reader code. I hope you all go through it once. So now we are going to debug that. So this is the I have shared with you all yesterday, day before yesterday. So this is a constructor of our class. So when I will run this constructor, here I am creating the, if you see to this class, here I am simply creating the variable outside. at class level, and I'm creating the object. So once I'm creating the object, in the parameter I'm placing one path. So this path is where my file is present. So this file is present in this path, right? So I've given it, and as it is a default constructor I've created, so that path, this path at the runtime, copy it, this path at the runtime will come here, and now as the default constructor will run, this path which we are getting from our test case will be placed into this variable. So now after this, I have written the Excel sheet code. So that is very much same, but I've made some modifications. So now let me debug this program and put breakpoint everywhere. So we can see. So this will get me the total number of columns count, and this will get me the cell data. Cell data in the sense this cell data, right? Ramesh, all the names it will grab, and after that, so let me first debug that. That will make it clear. So guys, if you are not able to understand at some point of time, let me know immediately so that we can start. Otherwise, if you say after this will be over, it will again take more time. So let me know if you. So let me put breakpoint. So I have placed breakpoint everywhere. Now here let me put breakpoint here as well, and here as well. So now I am not using this data provider. I am trying to get the data from Excel sheet. So here this is the test case. I am telling to this test case that refer to this data provider. So this is get data now, right? So it will refer to the data provider and let me debug it. So how it will take debug as this. So now we are here as of now. So now you can see we are here. It is referring to the data provider. Before running this test case, so first it will come to this point, but it sees that I need to go to this place first to get the data. So now it is here. Before running this test case, it will first go here, which is okay. So I think it is here. Now if you see, first of all, I'm creating the object of Excel reader class. This is our class. This is our class. So if I click this, it will simply run the default constructor. So that path will come here, and that this path will go into this variable. So this variable is basically our this variable. So I'm placing this dot path so that there will be no confusion. So as of now, null value is coming, but when I execute this line, you can see now this path will be set. This is the path. So now this variable knows where this file is located. And now again the some Excel code which we have already discussed. So here I am creating the file input stream class object and providing that path. So this we have already seen, just I am again telling. So now FIS, this object knows where the file is located. And if you remember in the Excel sheet code, we have created this class object. So you can refer that lecture again if you are feeling confused. So now this object knows where the file is located, and if I place this object here and create the object of this class, so this class will basically help us to perform all the reading operations on our Excel sheet. So now if I create the object of this, and with the help of this object now knows where my Excel sheet is located. This object has the knowledge where my Excel sheet is located, and whatever the operation you want to perform, this object will help you. So this object will help you, and from this object I am calling one method get the number of sheets. So it is how many sheets are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 sheets are there. So it is taking some time. So after that, if I execute, so it will give me total 5. So this part is clear as of now. Okay, I hope it is clear. So after that, if I come to this, it will, after calling the default constructor, these two lines will execute, and now I'm calling this method which is m.getName. So what is this m.getName? In the parameter, I provided one method class, and I have created one variable of that class. So if you see this test case, this method is calling the data provider. So that particular name, which if I want to know that which test case is calling the data provider, so this method m will help me. So this method m variable will simply call one method getName. So it will pull that name which is calling the data provider. So what is the name of the test case which is calling the data provider? This is Amazon test case number 2. So that same name we are getting it here. So if I click this, so you can see the same name we are getting it here, Amazon TC2, right? And if you see, I have created the sheet with the same method name. So make sure you are creating the same sheet name. So there is a reason you will get to know soon that why we are giving the same name. So now I'm passing this sheet name, this Amazon TC2 to this particular place. Get the row count. So if I click this, I have put one breakpoint, so it should stop. So that method, now that we are getting this Amazon test case number 2. So now what are the total number of sheets which we have already calculated? Total number of sheets are 5, right? And if you see this will 5 will come again. So it will run from 5 times. So I am saying this workbook will have the knowledge where my Excel sheet is located. So I am saying get me the sheet which is present at index number 0 for the first time. So for the first time, if you see what is the sheet at the for the first time at 0 index, this is the sheet name at 0 index, 1 index, 2, 3, 4. So this is the name. Amazon TC2 is the sheet name. So I'm saying when you are able to access the sheet at index number 0, grab the name and compare whether the sheet name is equals to this one or not. If both are condition true, go inside. So condition true, we will go inside. And now I am saying I am creating one sheet variable which is of type this one, right? So here I am creating that variable and whatever the sheet I got. So condition true. So I'm saying to this object which have the knowledge of each and every data of Excel, then whatever the sheet presented index number 0 as the name is matching, grab that sheet and put it into this variable. So now if I click this, so now this sheet will have the content of our is getting the hold of this first sheet. So now our task is done. Next we have to fetch the data. So now this test case will run for time. So you should put break, otherwise it will run again. So now condition will not match for rest of the sheets because the name is different. So it will come out of this, and after that, this is the sheet. This variable have the hold of sheet number 0. So I'm saying get the total number of rows. So what is the total number of rows? If you calculate here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6. So I'm counting it from 6. So if you see, total number of rows are 7. Why it is giving us 7? Because if you count from 0, let me count it from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or if you count from 0, so it will be like this 0. So better to count from 0 because we are going to use the indexes. So index will start from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 rows are here. So it will simply return the row count. And it will be placed into this row count variable. Now row count variable is here, total number of 7. Similarly, there is one more method which we have defined in our Excel reader class, get the column count. So if I run this, now again number of sheets are 5. Again I am started to compare that whether the sheet name is equals to that sheet name or not. So that's the reason I am defining the same name here as well as the method name as well as this name so that we can compare. So make sure you are defining the same name. Now if you see, once the condition will match again at the index number 0. So now again I'm getting the hold of the sheet. So we get the hold of the sheet. And now if you see this, so now condition will not match. So better once this condition will match, you can put break statement so it will not run unnecessary, right? The rest of the time. So you can put a break statement. So let me run this now. What is this? I'm saying as you are having the sheet number 0, what is the sheet number 0? This is the sheet number 0, Amazon test case number 2. Now I'm saying get me the row number 0. So row number 0 is this one, first name and email. Get me that row number 0. So now that row will be placed here. So now this variable which we have declared on the top, which is this one. This is the variable I have declared. So this row will now have the access of our, this row is pointing to this one. This ROW variable is pointing to first row because I'm saying get row of 0. And from that variable, I'm saying get the last cell number. So what is the last cell number from the first row? Is, you can say 0, 1. This is the last cell number where the data is present, or you can say 1, 2. So let us say what the count it will give us. So it is 2, right? So you can count like 0 and 1, or you, if you want to count like 1 and 2. So it will give you 2 rows. Total number of columns are 2. We got to know. So that column will also be placed here. So 2 columns and 7 rows. So this information we get. So till now it is clear to everyone. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
So now what I'm doing, based on the row number and the column number, I will create one array. So why I am creating like this, you will get to know soon. So if I run this, if I create in this fashion, so if you see, first row, as of now no data, so null value is coming. Second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. So total 6 entries in the form of row and column. So if you see this, index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total 6 entries we are creating, but you will see that here total number of rows are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I am creating the array of count 6. You can see the count is, if I again open it, count is 6 here. So why I am creating like this? Because so you can see first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. But the reason why I'm creating one less, because I do not require this name and email. I need this data. So I am creating the array one less than the total number of rows. So I have created like this. And after that, we are running one for loop so that we can grab the data from our Excel sheet. So how many times it will run? Row count is 7. So 0, 7 minus 1, 6. So condition true. Now again columns condition true. So we will go inside. And here I value will be 0, j value will be 0, right? And now this will run at the last. And first of all, this method will be called. So if I open this method, so this is the method. So if I click this, so rows are 0, columns are 0. Why 0, 0? Because from this one, when this will run for the first time, 0, 0 will be the value. So that 0, 0 value is coming here. Now, why I'm doing rows plus 1? Because for the first time, if I say 0, 0, if I say 0, 0, it will be present at this name. I do not want to get this name value in my data. I want to run with the actual data. So I am saying rows plus 1. So earlier, if you see, I am saying sheet dot get the row. First of all, we are getting the row number 0. If you remember, we are getting the row number 0 earlier. So that row number 0 is this, is name and email. Now if I say rows plus, if I say sheet dot get row, rows plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So now I will be pointing to this variable. This variable will be pointing to this row, which is second one. Now we are here. Now if I see, if I execute this line, I am saying from this row, this will have the hold of which row? This one. I am saying from this row, get me the cell. So cell will be, column will be 0 as of now. So from this second row, get me the cell which is present at index number 0. So you will get this value from the Excel sheet. So if I run this, so Ramesh will be come here, and now we are returning that data. And after this, it will return the data Ramesh. So I am placing Ramesh at index number 00. So as of now, no data is present, null value is present, but you will see Ramesh here after this. So if I click this, so you can see Ramesh is present here. Now I want to get the second value. Similarly, now I value will remain the same, but J value will increment by 1. This is how the nested for loop will work. J value 1, I value 0. Now if I go inside again, 0 and 1. So 0 and 1 will come here. 0 and 1. Again, I am pointing to the row number. Same row I am pointing, which is having 0 plus 1. So again, we are pointing to the same row, which is nothing but this one. So this time I am saying from this row, get me the cell which is having the 1, which is having the number as 1. So first one is 0, second one is 1. So you will get this data, and I'm saying get the pull the string cell value from that cell. So now email ID of Ramesh will be placed here. So email ID of Ramesh. Now it will return the email ID, and as the J value was 1, so 00 Ramesh, 01 is Ramesh email ID. So that email ID will be placed here. So you can see we are going to get our first data. So if I after that, what is the value of J? This condition, this loop will terminate inner loop, and again we will start. Now I value will be 1. I value will be 1 on the right hand side. Now J value will again start from 0. So now this time it will be 1, 0. Right? Similarly, if I go inside, now if you see it is 1, it is 0. So now I will increment it again by 1 because 1 plus 1 is 2. So now because row number 0, so this we got the data of this row. So I will say row plus 1, which is row number 2. So now I want to get this data. So I am saying rows plus 1 again. So which is 2. So we are going to get the whole of that row. And from that row, I am saying get the cell which is at index 0. So get the cell which is at index 0. So this is Ankit. Again, Ankit, and then Ankit will be placed here. And if you see at 1 and 0, Ankit will be present. Similarly, after this, again, if I run, J value will change. Now it is 1, 1, 1, 1. So I'm saying get me the column at index number 1 from the row number 2nd. So this Ankit email will be test. So now, what is the Ankit email? This is the Ankit email. So Ankit email will be placed at, what is the value? 1, 1. Right? So 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So now this will place the Ankit email. So similarly, if I keep on running like this, it will pull all the data. So are you able to get that how we are getting the data?
So, Sumit,
Yeah.
instead of the logic which you have put starting from 0 and adding row plus 1, we can directly start from 1, right? We don't have to, we can comment this one row sheet dot get rows. We can comment it and then
If you
start from
hard
1.
code the data, if you suppose say 1, so how you will get it to 2? So you have to keep on adding the rows. Now that's why I'm given like this.
No,
If
no,
you
no, no. Can you go back to the previous for loop?
which one?
For loop.
Let me this one? No, this one. Let me.
No, no, the for loop.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, instead of for int I is equal to 0, we can directly start from int I is equal to 1 there.
Yeah, you can do
And
also like this if you want.
yeah, yeah,
Your
okay.
code. Yeah, it will be better if you can keep on adding the modification. So there will be many ways. So right now I'm wasting one iteration because I'm not starting from 0. So that's why you can change. Okay, your code. Is it clear?
Yes, it is. I guess we need to practice more, but yeah,
Yeah. So
understand the
if you
logic you
debug
should
this,
have.
then it will be easy. But if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
try to run, then it will be. So let me do one thing. Let me remove the breakpoint. So now, similarly for all the data, so let me do it fast. So now it will. So you can see what is the data after it has finished execution. Okay, so it will not show me. So automatically, let me run it again in debug mode.
Sumit, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So you're retrieving data single row and single column, right? So is it possible to retrieve whole data of a column?
How hold it out?
Column. I mean, uh, if in the second row, let's go to Excel.
This one.
Yeah. If in the first, I mean, in the second column, you already have Ramesh at gmail.com. So
Yeah.
you can retrieve, yes. So you can retrieve whole data at once. Is it possible to retrieve whole data at once? Before,
Let me try to put login and let you know.
okay, I mean, how to do it? Like, you are written
So
code.
first try, then let me know. I will tell you if you are not able. You are saying that you need to get the whole data at once.
Hmm,
So
okay.
first you need to.
You are retrieving data like column wise and row wise, individually.
I am retrieving individually. You can merge the two
Hmm.
methods into one, and then you can get. So try that.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So now let me show you one more time in debug mode how the data array will look like. So this is basically we are integrating our data provider with Excel sheet and some. Okay, so it will. Let me remove breakpoint. Now you can see the actual data at the end. Ramesh, Ankit, Jalaj, Pankaj, Ayush. So all the names data we are getting from the Excel sheet. Even if you add more data, then also it will be able to pull your test case will not fail. So we are writing the code in such a way that it will not fail. And after that, we are returning the data. So data one by one will be. So first data will come here, Ramesh, and it will run in the same way. This time it will run total number of 6 times. So let me remove the breakpoint and run it. So you can see it will run Ramesh first time. Okay, so some I think error is coming. Okay, so test case is failing, so that's why it is moving to this block. So let me run in run mode, otherwise it will keep on stopping. Run is human test. Let me try to add one data like XYZ. Save the file. So now you will see XYZ data will also be retrieved. It will not be saved.
But I think the logic has to be changed if you add, right? Because you said row number minus one in the.
No, that will not affect. Why it is not saving? Let me save it this file again. So now file is saved. Now if I run it, let me add one more. So save the file, otherwise it will not pick the data. I have saved the file. In total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So total 8 times. So our code should not fail. Let me check. So you can debug that later. I have showed you that how we can debug. So debug in that way by adding the data. And if the test case will fail, any of the test case will fail, and it will fail obviously because I put assertion. So that number of screenshots will be taken. The test case is not failed. Ramesh, Ankit, 4 times it has run already. Ayush. Tanvi. And then 2 more. You can say it has pulled the data, but you should save the file before that. So now one done. And after that, this will stop. Okay, so it will run one more test case. So this test case will going to pass. So even if this test case will fail, it will take the screenshot, but right now it will be pass. So we will not going to see the screenshot. So let me refresh it. And somewhere here HTML. So you can see the data we are getting so many screenshots. But every screenshot will be unique due to the date class. Because now total test case run 8. Only one test case passed, which is the other one. But rest of the test cases are failed. And you can see the screenshots of all the test cases. So along with the same output, Jalaj. If I say XYZ, where is the XYZ? So this one is XYZ. So here as well XYZ will be present. So this is how you can also. So screenshot code will not fail. It will keep on taking if you add more test case. Is it clear?
Yeah,
Is it clear?
yeah,
So if we talk about what is our framework, so we are using TestNG. You can see we are using TestNG annotation. So we are using TestNG as our framework. We are using TestNG as our framework. And if I talk about what is the approach we are following, what is the approach? If someone asks you, so many people say that hybrid is a TestNG, hybrid is a framework. If you see TestNG is the framework, approach is hybrid approach. So it can be like here we are doing hybrid approach. Why hybrid approach? Because it is a combination of data driven. So we are driving the data, all the data we are driving to our test case from external source file, which is our Excel. So I'm saying that it is a data driven approach. So I'm saying data driven approach. And there is one more approach we are going to see now, which is keyword driven. So what is this keyword driven? So if we are able to achieve these two approaches in our framework, so we are calling it as a hybrid approach, right? So now we have achieved this one data driven. So this also you can achieve the data driven by driving the data from database. So database we will see later. Just see what is keyword driven. So if you see this, let me do one thing. Let me create one more file, which is, so I've already created, I think. So yesterday we have created data.properties file. So similarly, I've created one more file, which is o.properties. So if you want to put all your locator into one properties file, so you can also do like this. So if you see this, there is one continue button at Amazon. If you create your Amazon account, so locator of this one, what I have done, I have placed the locator of this one in my properties file. So you can also do like this. So this is hash ID. So this is a unique one. So the locator of this one, I am saying, so this is a command. This is a command. So I'm saying I want to perform click operation on Amazon continue button. So for that, this is the CSS locator. This is the CSS locator, and this is one unique name I have given. So after creating the properties file, I will save it. And if you come to your base class, so if you remember, once we have created this data.properties class, we have to first load the class with the help of file input stream. So if I come to my base class, this is our base class which we have created. So if you see this one, these three, this is for the data.properties file, right? So as we are working with one more property file, so let me do one thing. Let me create some variable outside this, which is for this file. I'm talking about o.properties. So same for the o.properties, we will create one other object of file input stream. So these two are different, capital and small. And I will simply load the file. So once I will load the file, again I can apply this one, prop.getProperty. So what I can do, copy this. So if you see this in base class, wherever I want to perform click operation, how we need to write. If you remember, driver dot find element by dot locator xpath or css dot click. But I will create one keyword for click method. So what I will do, in the base class, I have created one. If you come down, this is the one. So this is one method. It is a method only, but here we are calling it as a keyword. So if you see this, what I'm doing here for the click operation, wherever I need to perform the click operation in any of the test case. If there are 100 test case and if I perform click operation 100 times, so basically it will be only applicable for the CSS. So because I'm giving CSS selector here, similarly you can create it for XPath. So what I will do, wherever I will require this click operation, I will simply call this method, and with the help of this property, whatever the value. So if you see this order properties, if I am able to pass this continue button here, so it will simply pull this locator. So it will simply pull this value with the help of ordered get property, like this one only, this one, right? So here the name is different. So if it will be able to pull, now I will say driver dot find element by dot css selector, and that selector I'm putting it here, right? And I'm clicking on that. So what I will do, I will copy this. So it is a method only, but now we are calling it as a keyword. So now instead of previously we were clicking the continue button from the page object, I will comment this.
Sumit, Sumit, quick question.
Yeah,
The properties name here is or dot properties, right?
you can give some other name. It is just
Yeah.
like
No,
object
no, no, no. I
display.
understand. I understand. But in order for getting the values in the property, we have to define the property variable. Properties prop is equal to
Yeah,
something, and
yeah.
then use that variable dot get property. But I have seen you're
Here as
using
well. If you
or.
here it is present only. If you go on the top, instead of prop, I will define some other
Ah,
string.
okay. Got it. Okay,
Right?
okay,
So
okay.
these two are different. So
Okay.
once it will load, let's debug the program again. So instead of clicking like this with the page object, I will simply use this keyword. So here we are calling this keyword as a, we are calling click as a keyword, click as a keyword. Similarly, you can also define one more keyword in the same fashion. Like if you want to send some data, so you can create one type keyword. Similarly, for the define one method in the base class with the help of type, and we are calling type as a keyword. So you can create many keywords like this. So this is nothing but our keyword driven. So if I write one more, like if you want to select some value from the drop down, so you can say select keyword. I will create select keyword. So simply you can see the readability will improve, right? Just I'm saying click instead of giving this much of data. I'm saying click and providing this value, which is on the left hand side, continue button, right? So I'm providing that, and if I debug this, let us see how it will execute. Debug is this. So let's do breakpoint quickly. Okay, so I think it will stop anyways. So I will put one breakpoint here. So it will again start. So you can see once this base class will run. Okay, so let me. Okay, so let it run. Okay, so we are, let me remove. So before getting inside this test case, first it will run the data provider, because then only it will be able to run. So let me run the data provider, where do I get all the data. Okay, so now all the data is present here. You can see all the data again. Data is present here. Now if I run it, it will stop at line number this one. Now, as this is a method, but here we are calling click as a keyword. Now, if I go inside this method, so put one breakpoint, and it will stop here. Now you are here. So whatever the value we are passing here, that will come here, because it is a string value. So this is the one. Now that value come here, right? So as this file is already loaded on the top, on the top once it is already loaded, because when we are running this initialize driver at the before class, these three lines will run. So that's why I created the global variable, because if you create them as a local variable, you will not be able to use them outside the method, right? Because we have to use it here, auto get property, but that is not the case with file input string, right? So now this will have the some data, right? You can see this is the data. Now I'm saying get property this one. If you see this, get property this value. So what is the value of this one? It is the locator. So the locator value will come here, and I'm saying driver dot find element by dot css selector. This is the css selector dot click. So as of now, it will not click. As of now, we are not having this. But once I will click this, you can see it has clicked. That's why you are seeing these two errors, because you have to fill all the detail. So that's why. So this is how we are achieving our driving the data through keywords. Similarly, if I run it, it will run again without an issue. So similarly, you can create send keys, keyword, type keyword, click keyword, get text keyword. Many keywords you can create. So you can also do one thing like this like CSS. So you can create one more properties file that will have all the XPath of your framework, right? So you can also maintain the data in this way. This is the CSS,
And
and
I think there is no use of object repository
no, I'm
if you
not saying
create
that.
a.
See, that is different and this is different. Both are having their use. But I'm saying if you want to provide the keyword driven, you can also do like this. Both
No,
are
I
the.
mean, if you do keyword driven, we don't need object repository, I think.
If we do keyword driven,
There is no use of object repository.
see, we are achieving hybrid approach with the help of this, because we are using data driven. That is a design pattern. Do not change this. We should use this. It's your call and it's according to your client, how your client wants. So here I'm telling you about the method. That is not a hard rule, but I'm telling that what is the approach we are using? We are using hybrid approach, right? So select the hybrid approach, which means it is a combination of data driven, data driving from the Excel sheet, and also we are achieving the keyword driven. And that page object is a design pattern, so let it be. So it is according to your client. Again, I'm saying that how he wants it. So now similar in the same way. So this part is clear how we can create the keywords like this, click, select. So you can try other as well, right? I hope it is clear.
So, Sumit, can we get the like Git path or something for this project? Because there are lots of things and we need to practice a lot for this.
I will share again in the Telegram, or let me ask Vandan, he will upload in the GitHub.
Okay.
I will share the code just like we in the Telegram group, all code, right? So you can send that
Okay.
code to your WhatsApp, and from the WhatsApp web you can load into your machine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we are achieving. That's why I'm saying we are using TestNG as our framework. So that is a framework, because why we are calling TestNG as a framework, because it is have some functionality, like you can say data provider is provided by the TestNG, right? At the rate test annotation. So that will help us to drive our test case easily. So that's the reason it is a framework. And these are the approaches, hybrid approach, how we are achieving, which is a combination of data driven, data driving from the Excel sheet, which you have already seen, and creating the keywords like that, right? So now we have done this. And there is one more approach if you want to get the data from the database. So now let us see that topic as well. So let us do one thing.
You may cover this in the next session.
Yeah, it will
It
only
will,
take,
it's
see,
getting, I
it is
mean,
only a
it's,
half an hour class, and that's why I'm saying only 14 minutes it will take. Okay.
It's been a lot for today. I think so many concepts today. It may go out of.
See,
Yeah,
database is a
yeah.
separate concept and this is a separate concept. So I don't
no,
think that
we get confused. We get confused with it.
we get.
Already, if you notice, three, four people have dropped.
So
Yeah, we might be confused a lot because
I'm just covering this. If you have database any issue, then you can tell me. Just see this once. It is not very big concept, right? let me, because even this, I'm not teaching for 2 hours. It is only, I started at 8 and it is only 1 and 15 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes. So just be with me.
so,
Yeah.
so you already covered 2 hours topic very fast.
But you cannot say that I have covered very fast. I have debugged each and everything. I am not
I know, but the details inside the test case, so many methods, unless and until we practice and understand, I think it will take us some time, right? So, and yeah, I guess we have a weekend, we can practice it. Yeah.
So there is one thing. If you guys are available over the weekend, then we can skip this database. 15 minutes topic. Your call. You are available.
Uh, yeah, I am not available on weekends. It is better to cover on weekdays.
It will only take 15 minutes. Again, I'm saying, right? Just see this.
Mm, no, I agree. We should
Okay, okay.
do it now because weekend even I'm busy. So yeah.
So first of all, if we want to get the data from the database, so that is database is a separate concept. You will not going to confuse, right? So if you want to get the data from the database, first get the database in your machine. So for that, open this website Java T point. MySQL is the database we are using. Click this. So first it is saying go to their official website. So come down. Where it is. Go to their, okay, this one. So come to this Java T point and type this how to install MySQL. And when you go to their official website, you have to download this one, second one. So this will have all the data which we require. For now, after that, you can click no thanks, just start my download. Now that is a .exe file. It is very long, 430 MB. So let me not download it. I am already having it. So coming to the installation part, when you will run this .exe file, if you come down, so this is how after installation, run this .exe file and do not change anything. Just click on next every time. So this is next. This page will display. Again, click on next. So now after this, you have to click on execute. So that will execute the data and you can see green tick, which means everything is success. Click on next. Click on next. And again, click on next every time. But here if you see in this image, there is one port number which is 3306. So note that port number, it is a default port number where your MySQL will be running, right? Because we are going to require this port number in our test case. So 3306 is the port number. And if you come down here, again click on next. Now here that is important. If you see this, you have to set one password. So make sure you are, whatever the password you are setting, you are not going to forget the password. Otherwise, you have to do the installation again. So after setting the password, click on next. Click on next and again click on next. Same again. Click on next. And here again, when you come to this one, here again you have to provide your username and password. So by default, if you are not setting the username, that will be root. Whatever the password you have set previously, so here we have set the password in the previous one. Now click on check. So if that is a green tick, that means everything is success. Otherwise, you have made some error. So make sure to remember the password and click on next. And after this, that will be installed into your machine. So click on next again, and this is how it will install. So once it will finish the installation, if you search here, MySQL, this one, workbench. So basically, this is a kind of server. Inside our server, some database are present. So this is just like a server. So by default, you will get it once you will install this data. So let me share this link. Let me share this link with everyone so you can download it from here. So now workbench is opened. I think So let me open. So okay, it is open. So this is just like a server. Inside the server, databases are present. So first you will see this screen for the first time when you will run it. Now click this. It will ask for username and password, which you have set in the setup. So the root password is whatever the password I have defined, I am writing that. Click on OK. So this is server. Inside this server, I am having so many database. So now this is the one. So one more point here, we are not going to cover the entire database because that is also a very big topic and it will almost take 15 to 20 days if we start. So here we are covering that much that is required to get the data in our database, right? From the database to our test case. So first of all, when you will log in, you will see some dummy database. This is the dummy database. This is the dummy database. So these I have created. So if you want to create a database, how you can create? This is related to SQL query. So if you want to create a database, just write weekday. Suppose I'm creating one dummy database like this. So on the left hand side, you will see that database will be created. So refresh it. So this is the database you have created, right? So once database is created, I need to say that I need to use that database so that I can create the table. So I will say I want to use this database. So first provide this line. So you can say green tick, which means success. Now if I execute this command, so this is the column number, column name. I am saying create table with this name. These are the data type, variable character having the maximum length of 20, variable character and the variable character, right? So I will simply create this table by selecting this. So that table will be created inside this weekday, right? So if I click this, refresh it. So if I click this, login table is created with the columns, username, email, and password. But as of now, suppose you want to see what is the table data. So this is the command, select all the data from login table. So click this. So you can see these are the data. Because I am not inserted any data into my table, that's why we are getting this error, right? So as of now, if you want to insert some data, run this command, insert into table name. This is the table name. These are the values. So Ankit will be go inside username, Gmail ID will go inside email, and this is the password. So if I run this line, suppose if I run this line, so after that, if I run this command again, now you can see one data is coming. Similarly, if I run this line, so some data will come. Again, if I do this, so you can see some data is coming, right? One by one. And here, if I execute the first line, so some error is coming. And let me try to execute. So I think executed. Now if I run it again, you can see. So all the data we can do like this. So what is Ankit is left. So now we have created one dummy database, right? So what is the database? Database name is weekday, but I will not going to use the weekday. This is the some good name I have given already. So where I am creating this one. Now if I say this one, so we are going to use this database. So I just showed you. So if you want to create some dummy database, you can do like this. So now we are going to use employee info as our database, and these are the table value. So till now it is clear to everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
So do not read the entire database. If you want, you can do that. But here we are covering only that much that is required from our testing point of view. So we have some data now. I want to get this data from here to our test case. So how we can get that? Let me create one table. Not table. I will create one test case. So let me create one test case. Let me say class. So if you see this, I will not give test after the test name. Let me see database. Right, so this is just it. So if I run v1 test, that will not run because test is not present after this class. And here I will not use test ng as well. Just I need to demonstrate how we can get the data. So this is public static void main. So let me copy some code that is not a very lengthy code, and I copy this, save it. Okay, so for database as well, we need to get one dependency. What is the dependency name? Go to Maven repository because, and we are using one API, which is, let me first get the dependency. Go to this official website. So here you have to write MySQL connector Java. So this dependency we will require to run our database test case. So with that we can form a connection. So go to the, so it is Java database connectivity. So it is an API. We are going to pull that API related to that in our form.html. So all the dependencies will go. So provide somewhere here, control V, save it. So now after this, so one error comes. So so localhost. And what is this port number? So that port number is the default one which we have set apart. So if you remember, there is one we have set. So that's why I'm saying, so by default port number will be 3306, but just check it at your end every time. So somewhere here, this is the port number. So we are providing that port number here, 3306, and these two we have defined. And after that, first this, whatever you are seeing, this line highlighted one, this is called as connection string. So basically this is the syntax you have to provide in this way only, right? So this is the syntax you have to provide. So these are the username. By default, this will be root, and this is the password I have set when I was doing the setup. So these two you have to define, and this is my database name. If you see this in our this one, so even so this is the database name. So let me give it. So let me provide database name here. To save it. So in this format only you have to define, otherwise it will throw error. And this is the port number. So what I can do, instead of defining the port number here, I can remove this 3306 and I can say port. So that will be also same. So that 3306 will come here. And instead of this one, I can say host. So that is also same. And we are just saying we are using JDBC. It is an API for connecting our Java test case to database, and this is MySQL which we have downloaded. So in the same fashion you have to define, this is called as the connection string. So once this line will run, what I'm saying, I am creating this is one class. So this class is coming from the dependency which we have provided in our XML file, sorry, pom.xml file. So import that class. So this class have one method, get connection. So inside that you have to provide this whole string. So I will also share this code. This whole string you have to provide in this format. And once you will provide, you will get one connection object. So that connection object I'm catching in one variable. So you can see three variables, three import statement. So we are working with MySQL. So import third one. And after that, so till now it is clear to everyone how we have to do.
Yeah.
So make sure you are providing in this fashion only. Otherwise, if you try to change, it might throw error. So better not to change. And this is the database name with a slash. So after this object have one method. This object have one method, which is this one. So basically, this method will return you one object. This is our object that is of type statement only. So again, three. Which one you have to import? Java.sql. Save it. So first you have to call this method. How you will call? Simply like after that dot create statement. So basically, this method will return you one object, and whatever the query you will write, So you have to ultimately your goal is to write one query and get the data. So to write the query, first you need to get this object, and once you will get this object with the help of this method, this object again will give you one method which is execute query. So once you will call that method and provide a query here. So right here, let me provide first default one, select star from login. Select star from login. So it will give the entire data, because if you see here, if I say this, it is giving me each and every data present inside our table. Similarly here as well, once this method will invoke, this line will invoke, it will grab the data from the database and place it into this variable. So this is the return type, and import this. So once you get the data here, what I will do, I will try to print the data. Let us see whether it is printed or not. So okay, so error is coming. Okay. So let me debug the program again. So what is this rs dot next? I will be coming to that point. And so what is the error? 1, 2. Okay, so 2 while rs dot next. Okay, so error gone. Click this. Okay, so now what is this rs dot next? I will explain in the debug mode. So put one breakpoint here and put one breakpoint here, right? So now if I debug this program, right click, debug as. So let me start from the beginning, from this line number 16. So click this. So even if I close this, I will still form the connection. That is not an issue. So let me open, because I'm putting the username and password and every data here. So that will form the connection, and will be able to get the data. So now it will be first line connection will be formed. So in the debug mode, it will take some time, right? After that, I'm creating the create statement. Now this is important. Once this statement will run, all data of the table will be fetched from the database and placed into this variable. So now let me try to run it. So let me do one thing. Till then, it will grab the data. Let me take a snapshot of the table. And let me explain what is this rs.next. So this is one variable I'm creating, just a variable. And if you come this, so this will have all the data of the table. But right now by default, this rs variable is now present here. Rs variable is just like sitting here outside, not pointing to any row. This is our rs object. Now if I say this is a while loop, rs.next. So what this will do, when you do it for the first time, this will simply move your rs.next to first row. Okay, so let me do it. So what it will do, when I will execute rs.next, it will simply move your rs object pointing to the first row. And as data is present, condition will become true. So now it will return true. Rs is pointing to your first row. And once condition true, we will go inside. You can see we will go inside this time. Now I am saying from this object, get me the string, which is username. This is the column name. So what is the column name for the first row? This is the column name, which is username. So as rs is pointing here, you will see Sumit will be fetched for the first time. So similarly, if I run it, so you can see Sumit will come here and Sumit will be printed. Similarly, I'm saying get me this column name, which is email. So as rs is pointing to the first row, as rs object is pointing to the first row, so it should be, it has given us this data. When rs is pointing to first row, if I say rs dot get email, it will simply return the first row email. So if I execute this, it will give me the email and it will print in the output. You can see in the output. And similarly, when I want to get the password, it will again get the password. But after this, it has given the data of our first row. If it is given, where it is our this one. So once it is given, now I am saying rs dot next again. You can see the highlighted line on the top. Rs dot next again. So now this rs object will now move to our second row. Now this will point here to our second row. And now again, if I say rs dot get username, so Ankit this time will be fetched, right? So condition true because the data is present. So this time Ankit username and Ankit password. Similarly, if I say rs dot next again, now rs object will point to third row. So this is how it will keep on going. Now it is pointing here. And if I say Pankaj, rs dot get username, it will return Pankaj, condition true. So Pankaj email, Pankaj's password. So I'm just saying dummy data. You can create some other table if you want. So now after that again one more time, last user data, and this is the password. But if you see after this, for the last time rs is present here. For the last time rs is rs was present here, and it has given us the details of Vandan. But after this, no more data is present, no more rows are present. So once you will do this method, this will return the false, and as it will return the false, condition false, so we will come out of the while loop. So this is how we can get the data. Are you able to get how we can fetching the data, all the data from the database?
Yeah.
So suppose you want to get the data of only one person. Suppose there might be the case, not every time you want to get the data. So let me explain one more query and then we will wind up the session. Suppose I want to get there is one query, like I want to get the data of Pankaj. So I'm saying get me all the data from the login table where the username matches with Pankaj, which means only one row will be returned. So now you can see only Pankaj data will be given. So if I do the same statement here as well. So if I get where username equals to Pankaj, so remove that semicolon. So what you have to do, in the database we are providing double quotes, but here you have to provide single quotes, right? So and we will see only this particular person. Similarly, you can apply for other user. So this is how you can also get the data of some other particular person. Let me run mode. This time only one data will be fetched and placed into this rs variable. One data will be placed only, and with the help of this one, we can get the data. So you have to do this every time rs.next, otherwise you will not be able to fetch the data. So now you can see data is coming. Similarly, if I say Vandan, just change the username, it will give the data of Vandan. So whatever the name column value, it will give us the particular person. So once you get the detail, username you got, email you got, password you got. So now I will leave it to you. You have to complete that task. So suppose Vandan name came. So how you need to run your test case? Suppose WebDriver manager.chrome driver.setup. WebDriver driver equals to new Chrome driver. Open the some website like Amazon website you can open, and you can say driver dot find element. So I'm just showing you how you have to do by dot xpath or css, whatever you want to write. And after that, in the send keys, you can provide like email if you want to send. So you just say email that is coming from the database. So on your test case, data this time is coming from the database. So this is how you can do. Similarly, for the email, you can say send keys, password, right? I hope this you can do. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, Sumit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will upload the
Hello.
video after this and share the code so you can practice. Okay. And if you face any issue, just let me know in the group. I will try to help. Okay.
So Sumit, will you also cover that log4j in the
No, no, we are
framework
not going to cover
for
log4j. That is
logging?
not in the syllabus.
Sorry.
Okay. We are not going to cover log4j. That is not in the syllabus. You can do one
Okay.
thing. If you want to say instead of log4j, you can say reporter.log. For logging, you can say here. If I come, so there is one class, listeners class. This one. So here I am using reporter.log like this. So for logging, you can do like this, but not we are not covering the reporter.log. Like you can do one thing.
So through this reporter.log, can we log all the things in a file? Or?
See, just I'm showing you like if I see, suppose one test case is passing, right? If I run it, so we have finished the session. Just let me clearing one point. If I run this test case, so if you remember, one test case will pass. So this will not run because this is not present in our test in the XML. So that's why I written like this. Only these two test cases will run. This test case will pass. So suppose if our test case will pass, if this test case will pass, I need to report some data into my sheet that our test case is passed. So how we can say? So let us first try to run and generate the report. So I think it is present here. So let me get the report. So many screenshots are there. Let me stop this, and if you come down, if you want to report some data here, so we are going to do it with the help of report. So if you see, I am talking about for the past test case. So you can see capturing screenshot is coming because I am saying reporter.log, right? So that's why capturing screenshot is coming here. Suppose if my test case will pass, and if you need to provide some data here, so how we can do with the help of reporter.log? So when the test case will pass, when the test case will pass, if I come to listeners on test success, so when the test case will be success, I can say, sorry, I can say log. So what I can say result. So first let me get the get method dot. So first let me check which test case is passed, right? Similarly for this one, just like we did it here, this one I will say first I am getting the name, and once I will get the name, I will say I'm logging that this test case passed. So you can give some. So if I try to run, so let me do one thing. We are working. So similarly, you can also do it here. Like if instead of this one, okay, if I say capturing a screenshot for failed test case, so that particular log will come in your test case. So if I run it one final time, let us see whether it is running. And let me show you if I try to do. Okay, let us go with this only. So it will run. Now earlier The test case is passing, no log is present here. That, and similarly here log is present, but let me give some other name. So again this will fail.
Didn't we add to click on continue? Is it clicking on continue?
Let me check. Yeah, it is clicking on continue. That's why you are seeing these two. You can see it is clicking on continue. That's why saying first provide the all the data, then only I will go after the page. It is clicking on continue. Are you getting why it is? I'm saying because red
Yeah.
data, red will display only when. Okay. So now our test case will run. This will pass and it should report like test case is passed, which we have given. Now it will pass, and if I refresh it, let me try to hit enter. It's one pass. So capturing screenshot for the failed test case. This is coming, and you can see. So first I'm getting the method name. So this test case is passed. So you can similarly provide some other logs if you want, right? So this you can do. Is it clear?
Okay, okay.
So if you want to see about log4j, I can share you some link after the in the Telegram. You can see it from there, right?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That would be
So guys,
helpful.
thank you
Thanks.
for attending the session. I will share
So
the code.
yeah, that is important. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.